Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Birmingham Sports Podcast. I am your host, as always, Josh Lovett. We've had a busy week in sports in Birmingham. We've had the Stallions home opener. We've had some UAB and Sanford men's basketball portal entries. We've officially said goodbye to the squadron and some other miscellaneous news. So let's just jump right into it. And I want to start with the Birmingham Stallions. It was the most anticipated sporting event of the weekend. And they got the job done. They would beat the Louisville Kings by a final score of 15-13. So a very, very defensively focused game. It was a shaky start, not just to the game, but for the season. I mean, a lot of people were expecting the Stallions to come out and be, dominant, even with a lot of the roster changes and new coaching staff. And even though they weren't dominant, they did get the job done. And at the end of the day, that's all that matters in the game of football, right? The first few drives of this game would kind of tell the story of the night. Kings quarterback Jason Bean threw a pass that was bobbled by a receiver and then picked off by the Stallions. And then afterwards, the Stallions would drive right down the field, score. Snoop Connor would take it in from 5 yards out. But then Jonathan Garibay would miss the extra point. So the game didn't have a whole lot of flow to it offensively. The defenses definitely shined. It really just came down to the small details, and that's something that you hear football coaches talk about all the time, is like we've got to focus on the little things to win the games, and that's what got the Stallions the victory in this one. For the Kings, the biggest issue was their wide receivers. They were kind of running into each other mid-route, dropping easy passes, a lot of miscommunications, which led to a lot of missed opportunities for them to do some damage. Jason Bean was able to use his legs to escape the defense a lot and made a lot of great throws, but he just wasn't able to do it alone. The Stallions defense did show up, however. They did kind of struggle in the secondary a little bit. Jason Bean threw for 226 yards in the game. He did throw 2 picks, though, so the Stallions secondary does have that to their name. Their rushing defense was really what impressed me the most. They held the Kings to 46 total rushing yards. And, I mean, in any game of football at any level, if you hold your opponent to less than 50 rushing yards, come on, you're probably going to win the game. It's not sustainable for an offense to not be able to run the football. It's not. And on the flip side of that, the Stallions, they weren't elite at running the football, but they were plenty good enough that as a team they ran for over 100 yards, 112 to be exact. Snoop Connor got 16 attempts, 56 yards. Anthony McFarland Jr. had 12 attempts for 39 yards, and Tyrion Davis-Price had 4 attempts for 14 yards. So you've kind of got a two-man backfield there with Connor and McFarland, and then you've got Davis-Price to kind of spell them whenever they need a blow. But it was a decent enough rushing attack. Matt Corral was pretty solid. He was 21 of 30, 207 yards and a touchdown. Did not throw a pick in the game, which helped out a lot, and that kind of proved to be the deciding factor. As the Kings threw 2, the Stallions threw none. The Stallions win the game. So I really want to shout out Jaden Mickens. What a game from him for the Stallions receiving corps. He had 102 yards on 9 receptions. That's fantastic. Fantastic game by him. Justin Ross would have 2 catches for 30 yards. He would have the lone passing touchdown. John Ross, Deion Kane, Snoop Connor, Anthony McFarland, Jabray Barber, Jordan Thomas, and Tyler Davis would all have completions in the game. Laviska Shenault Jr. had 2 targets but 0 catches. Not something I'm super concerned about yet, but something to keep an eye on as the weeks progress in the season. And I want to shout out Coach McCarron, too. Really, really impressive first game from him. You could really see his coaching ability and his game plan and his demeanor were that of a veteran. You wouldn't expect him to be coaching his first game as a head coach in this one. It was really, really impressive. He even called a timeout late, like at the very, very end of the game, to get his players back on the right side without giving any garbage yards over to the Kings after that weird Green May sack on Jason Bean that should have ended the game, but it didn't, because Green May kept running forwards and celebrating the sack, putting him way off sides and threatening a penalty. So really, really smart by McCarron to get that done. Just really, really, really savvy performance from him. And again, not something you expect to see from a first-year head coach, and I think that's got to be attributed to his time with Nick Saban. His demeanor really embodied Coach Saban, and some of those skills that Saban possesses definitely rubbed off on him. I don't think you can argue that it didn't. And the A.J. McCarron era of the Birmingham Stallions will start undefeated. Are there flaws? Sure, but there are some really, really bright spots, And we'll get to see this team in action again next Sunday as the Stallions will take on the Houston Gamblers as their road trip continues. Fans will have to wait until April 18th to see the Stallions at home when they take on the Orlando Storm. Moving on to some basketball portal news, UAB and Samford have both lost some players from their roster. We'll start with the Samford side of things. Zion Wilburn has entered the transfer portal. He was a rotational guard for them. He averaged 17 minutes a game, scored at about 4.5 points a game, had about 2 rebounds a game. So it's not a whole lot of production, but it was somebody that the staff was really excited about and they thought would be able to kind of take that next leap. But instead, he's going to bet on himself and hope that another staff sees that potential that the Samford staff saw and give him potentially a better opportunity. And then the really, really big one for Samford is Dylan Faulkner. He has entered the transfer portal. You really can't blame him either. Samford was not going to be able to match the money that he was going to command. Plus, he's deserved to go get a better opportunity somewhere. I'm not saying that Samford's not a good opportunity. It's a great place for mid-major basketball, but he's really played his way and deserved to go get a chance at the Power 4 level, and I think he's going to do that. Faulkner was a first-team All-SoCon guy. He averaged just over 17 points a game and 8 rebounds a game. He had 12 double-doubles on the year. Obviously, we've talked about him a lot on this show. He was, at times Samford's best player. If Jaden Booth was having an off night, Dylan Faulkner was your guy, and he was also the perfect complement to Booth's ability. Whenever Booth would be running off screens and wanting to get shots up, you could just throw Faulkner down there in the post and feed it to him and keep the defense honest down there too. So that's a really, really big loss for them. But I would expect him to go get a great opportunity at a mid to low level Power 4 school. And it'll be really fun to kind of follow him and see what he's able to do at that higher level. And then we'll move on to UAB. They have 3 players that have entered: Karan McPherson, Evan Chapman, and Jacob Meyer. So 1 reserve guy and then 2 starter-level players that have entered. McPherson averaged 4.5 points a game and played at about 10 minutes a game, so he was really limited in his playing time. He's going to be seeking a better opportunity. But then Evan Chapman and Jacob Meyer are your 2 really big losses. Chapman was the leading rebounder on this team, right around 9 a game, and he would also score right around 9 a game as well, 8.8 points per game. He would play 30 minutes a game, and he really stepped up at the end of the season when there were some injuries that were kind of going on that roster. He really turned his level of play up and helped that team make the push that they did in the American Conference. So he'll be somebody that is probably going to try to transfer up as well. We'll see where he's able to land. Same with Jacob Meyer. He averaged about 12.5 points a game, 4 rebounds a game. But he was also a 30-minute-a-night type guy. So that's 2 starter-level players that Coach Andy Kennedy is going to have to replace. We'll see whether he dives into high school for that or if he takes a look at the portal and tries to bring in somebody from that side of things. And then neither one of these schools have picked up anybody yet. It's weird. The portal for college basketball doesn't officially open until the day after the national championship game. I believe that's April 7th. So I don't want to say none of these are official because they're gonna happen, but I guess it's just not officially official yet. But I know some grad transfers, their rules are a little bit different. They can get the ball rolling a little bit earlier. I'm unsure if these guys are grad transfers, to be completely transparent with you. I don't know off the top of my head how many years of eligibility these guys have. So maybe some of them are following those adjusted rules for them. I'm not sure personally. But it'll be interesting to see how both of these programs try to reload through the portal. And there are probably going to be some more losses in the portal as well. So we'll keep you guys updated on that as that information comes to us and gets out in the public. And it'll be a really intriguing 2-ish week period as that college basketball portal gets going. And then sticking with college basketball, Jaden Booth has accepted an invitation to the State Farm 3-point shooting contest. It's the one that you see annually every year, featured on ESPN the weekend of the Final Four. This year, he will be competing on Friday night at 7 p.m. at Hinkle Fieldhouse in Indianapolis, but it will not be televised nationally until 1:30 on Sunday afternoon. But it's just a really cool event for him to go participate in. There's going to be some really high-level players. Chase Johnston from High Point is in it, so you've got a lot of the elite 3-point shooters in the country that are going to be at this game. It'll be fun to see how he stacks up against the rest Even though it may not be, as important information as some of the portal losses, it's something fun that fans can look forward to. And it'll be a great opportunity for Booth to put the Sanford jersey on one more time and hopefully get the university some more recognition. And then moving on to our last topic of discussion tonight, we have our final goodbye to the Birmingham squadron. They just wrapped up their season, as I mentioned on the show last week. It's just really sad to see them go. They've been here for a while. Really felt like we all wish they were able to get some more support than they deserved. And I understand why they're leaving. They're wanting to get closer to New Orleans, even though Birmingham is definitely a better market than the city that they're heading to. But it just sucks to see him go. It was a fun team. You had some really good talent come through. But we just want to send our gratitude to the NBA G League and to that organization for really embracing the community and just letting us watch some good fun basketball while they were here. But that is all of the major news that we are going to talk about on the show this week. I want to thank you guys for watching. Oh, and one more thing before I go. I do have the results of our food bracket that has been taking place over the course of the past few weeks. I want to shout out our winner, Automatic Seafood and Oysters. They just went back to back, voted by the people. So Automatic Seafood and Oysters takes the crown once again in the Birmingham food bracket. It's been a fun tournament to follow. It always is. We really appreciate all the engagement that we get. It feels like it can kind of bring the community together a little bit. So we're always happy to do that and to put that on. It's just a fun event. Like I said, we all enjoy getting to do it. But that's all I've got for you guys for this week. Thank you guys for listening. Be sure you guys like this video, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and follow us on all of our social medias as well. But I will see you guys next week, and we'll have more breakdowns on the portal and the Stallions and Gamblers analysis.